close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Daniel Bailey TV. Apologies, I've been a little bit delayed in getting this stream out to you guys. I was going to do it yesterday, but I decided to sort of take an extra day off because of the weekend and stuff. But listen, I'm back bringing you the review, the late review of Arsenal versus Brentford. And also at the end, we can look a little bit ahead to that Wolves game on Thursday. But big up to everybody in the chat. I realized as well before I actually, when I was setting this stream up, I realized actually that I put the wrong scoreline in. I put 2-0 to Arsenal, but it wasn't. It was 2-1, but I've edited that. So hopefully you guys will see the correct scoreline up there. So yeah, Arsenal versus Brentford. First and foremost, I got to say, I didn't actually make it to the game on Saturday because Storm Eunice put pay to all of that, cancelling all the trains and, didn't get there. So I ended up watching it at home. Apologies as well, there was no watch along. But, I just decided just to chill out and watch it rather than streaming. But yeah, listen, it is what it is. But yeah, what a game. I've got to be honest, I was not convinced in the first half when we started to press Brentford and we started to just, we had all the build-up play but not really finishing it off. I was getting a little bit concerned that it was going to turn into another situation like we've seen against Burnley, because a game against Burnley, we had a lot of chances, but not really doing anything with those chances. So I was getting a little bit concerned. And then when we went in 0-0 at half time, I was sort of like, listen, we have got to get our act together and we've got to get our shooting boots on, because we could not afford to drop points. And we still can't afford to drop points. I think we've got 16 games left and they're all massive. Do you know what I mean? We need to get points on the board, especially with Tottenham beating Man City. That was absolutely horrendous. I got to be honest, it took a little bit of gloss off the Arsenal win against Brentford on Saturday. Spurs winning against Man City. It took a little bit of the gloss off because Man City, with all their capabilities, I was watching that game thinking, yeah, we need Tottenham to drop points here, but fucking imagine having Spurs as your bogey team. Do you know what I mean? Like, imagine having all the players that Man City have and then having Tottenham as your bogey team. It doesn't even bear thinking about, does it? But listen, Arsenal, Brentford, we got the job done. Saka and Smith Rowe. I can't really say any more about these two players, if I'm being honest, because these guys have just kept us going all season. I think Smith Rowe now has got 10 goals in all competitions this season, and that is massive for him, for his development. That is massive, getting 10 goals. I'd like him to get a couple more before the season's out. If he can get into the 15, 16, 17 mark for this season, then I think it will be great. And again with Bukayo Saka, 7 goals, so 17 goals between the two of them, Bukayo Saka and Emile Smith Rowe. I think as well, Saka needs to start scoring more goals. Saka definitely needs to start scoring more goals because his build-up play and his all-round outfield play is excellent. But when you look at the fact of how young he is, he needs to add more goals to his game. I think when you look at our young players, when you look at Saka, when you look at Smith Rowe, when you look at Odegaard, you probably say, yeah, they're great, but they need to chip in with goals. And I think the only player who's really taken that on board is Smith Rowe. You know, Smith Rowe's starting to add goals to his game, which is going to make him an all-round better player going forward in the future. And I think Odegaard and Saka, if they can add more goals to their games, then it's only going to make them better players. But look, it is what it is. They're still young, they're still developing, and it's fantastic, isn't it? It's fantastic that they're getting those goals, especially on Saturday when we needed them. Because I've said between now and the end of season, our midfielders are going to have to chip in with goals because Lacazette ain't going to do it. Again, he had a few chances at the weekend and didn't really capitalize on them. And Eddie Nketiah is not going to do it. So we need to be relying on these midfielders to chip in with goals and to do a lot more than what they're doing at the moment, especially if we're going to make that top four. Because when you look at the teams around us, you think Man United's got Cristiano Ronaldo, Bruno Fernandes, then you've got Rashford who likes chipping in with a couple of goals. When you look at Tottenham, they've got Harry Kane and Son, you know, two of probably the best strikers in the Premier League. And then you look at the likes of maybe West Ham and Wolves are going to have got players who can hurt you. Maybe not so much, and maybe on a lesser scale than maybe on a lesser extent with them two, because they don't really have the prolific strikers that say Tottenham and Man United have. So when you look at the race for the top four, we need our midfield to start chipping in with goals, because I feel like that's where the top four race is going to be won and lost, especially when you look at the case of Arsenal, because we don't have a recognised out-and-out striker at the moment. And the strikers we have, Eddie Nketiah and Lacazette, just aren't getting the goals. You know, their output isn't that great. And Lacazette's output hasn't been great for a long, long time. You know, the goals have dried up. His output actually is poor for a striker. When you think that a striker's main function is to score goals, and then you look at his all-round build-up play, you could say, yes, his hold-up play and his build-up play is decent. But when you look at his goal-scoring ability, it's absolutely appalling because he doesn't get no goals. He gets the odd goal now and again, but nowhere near enough than what he got before he came to Arsenal. And I think it's fair to say that Lacazette has been an absolute flop at Arsenal. And I've got to be honest, especially when he was brought in to get the goals, he was an absolute flop. So look, it is what it is. Going forward for the top four, we need the goals to come, you know, and it's only going to come from our midfield. The young players are probably going to be the star of the show. And then, you know, I've not even spoken about Martinelli. You know, he needs to chip in with goals as well. I think that's where I'd like to see these guys improve. You know, these guys are young players. Martinelli, Saka, Smith Rowe, Odegaard. I'd like to see them all chip in with more goals. Because I look at Saka, he should at least be 15 to 16 goals a season. I look at Martinelli. I think Martinelli, if he gets his shooting boots on, he's capable of being 20 to 25 goals a season. I think he's more than capable of doing that. And Smith Rowe, I look at him and maybe, you know, he could be a 16, 17 goals a season striker. Midfielder. And then if you add in a world-class striker and another possibly world-class midfielder who can probably get 30 plus goals a season, then I think we're going to be in good stead. But for this season, going forward, and I realized I've gone off on a massive change in direction because I've not really been speaking about the game. I've been talking about a striker situation, but it all links back to this season because we're going to have to rely on these guys to get us through. And I feel like that's where the top four this season is going to be won and lost. I've got to be honest. And it was nice to get the 3 points. Like I said, I wasn't there because bloody trains and that conspired against me. But it was a good performance. To get a 2-1 win was fantastic. The only downside is not being able to keep a clean sheet. And I thought it was an unnecessary goal to concede. I thought it was just, again, it's a bit like the games against Man City at the Emirates and the games against, other teams where we've actually just lapsed in concentration and it's cost us. And I feel like we've done that again today. It was just a little bit of concentration. And it was just, game management needs to be a little bit improved. But I do feel like with the squad still young, they will learn that as they mature and as they gel as a team. They'll learn that the game management needs to be better, especially in the dying moments of games where you just need to see it out. You just need to be calm and composed and just get over the line and keep the clean sheets. But at the moment, they're still a bit raw. As a team and as individuals, you can see that some of those guys are still a bit raw. And we sort of saw that on Saturday. And again, when we look at the top four and we look at our race for the top four, finishing in the top four, we might fall up a little bit short because of the inexperience of game management when it comes to our team. So we've got to improve on that, especially between now and the end of the season, because the prize is massive, guys. The prize of Champions League football is massive. And I don't believe we're going to get a better opportunity than this season to finish in the top four. With the squad that we have, and you look at all the other circumstances, we are not going to get a better opportunity of finishing in the top four. Next season, the likes of Man United, Chelsea, Man City, Liverpool, they're all going to improve. And then you've got Newcastle, who have obviously just got millions as well. So they're going to be climbing up the table. I don't think we got a better opportunity than this season than now to finish in the top four. And we have to do that. We have to finish in the top four. There's no ifs, buts, maybes, or, if we fail this season, then there's always next season. No, this season is the time where we have to finish in the top four. We have to, because right now we're in an opportunity. We've got an opportunity, and we don't really want to be wasting that. We can't afford to be wasting that opportunity. Big up to everybody in the chat. I can see you all putting comments in there. I am going to read some of them in a minute. I'm going to get into those in a second. But I just want to talk about as well, when I was looking at this game and I was looking at the performance, I want to talk about the incident that happened with Granit Xhaka, because when Lacazette went off, he tried to give the captaincy to Granit Xhaka, and Granit Xhaka was refusing. Now, I actually think he did the right thing here. I don't think he should have took the captaincy. I've seen a lot of Arsenal fans on social media moaning about the fact that he didn't take the captaincy, he didn't take the captain's armband. But these are the same people that moaned about Granit Xhaka when he had the captaincy and he told the fans to fuck off. So that's the best thing he'd done all game, was refuse the captain's armband. And listen, I've got to be honest, I think Granit Xhaka's leaving in the summer. I think he's going to be gone. I think we're going to be upgrading. You can see that the club are actively trying to look for a replacement, because we've been linked to guys like Yuri Tielemans. You're not going to bring a guy like Yuri Tielemans in just to sit under Granit Xhaka and still keep Granit Xhaka in the team. I don't think that's going to happen. I think the club are actively looking for replacements for Granit Xhaka. And if that is true, then I think that's going to be good. I think, listen, I've said it for time that we need to move on from Granit Xhaka. I've said it for time that Granit Xhaka is nowhere near good enough for this football club. And I've said it that I just think we need to move on from him. We massively need to move on from him. But I think genuinely on Saturday, I think the team did all right. I've got to be honest, guys. I think we ground out a 2-0 win. Listen, we had to be patient at times because Brentford were very well organised defensively. Very well organised defensively. And I think we had to be patient and we had to just wait for the right moments. But I think we dealt with that very well. And, we move on to Wolves. And I've got to be honest, I'm going to quickly give you a little oversight of my player ratings for this game, because I actually looked at the team and I think the majority of players get 6 and 7 for me. I think Ramsdale was excellent in goal. Didn't really have an awful lot to do. Again, with Cedric, Gabriel, White and Tierney, the back line, they didn't have a lot to do. I think most of the back line, if not everybody in the back line, I'm giving or have given a 6. Midfield, I thought Thomas Partey and Granit Xhaka, they did their jobs decently. A couple of standout players for me. I thought Odegaard had a really good game. Again, he probably gets about a 7 or 8. You can put yours down in there and I will read them out. But Saka, Smith Rowe they both get 8 for me. And then obviously Lacazette. I think Lacazette was probably the only player who gets a 6. Most of them get 7, 8s, along with the back line. I realized that was a bit jumbled, but it is what it is. But yeah, listen, we move on to Wolves and we just take the 2-1 victory. 3 points. I think I've always said right from now until the end of the season, the most important thing is not necessarily the performance. The most important thing is getting 3 points in these games. When you look at the games we've got, I would happily take scrappy wins if it means that we get the 3 points. And I think we're going to have to contend with that this season. I don't think we're going to see vintage Arsenal performances. Of course, when we play the likes of Liverpool, Man United, Chelsea, and Tottenham, we're going to have to raise our game a little bit more than we do when we play the likes of Brentford, Villa, Watford. Sorry, not Brentford, because we've already played them. But when we play the likes of Villa, Watford, Southampton, Everton, no disrespect to those guys. And yes, we will have to raise our game for those. But it's not gonna. We're not gonna have to raise our game for the same level as we are as if we were playing a team like Chelsea, Liverpool, Man United. So I'm just think that we need to just be prepared that a lot of our wins are going to be scrappy, and we're not going to see vintage Arsenal. We're not going to see the vintage Arsenal that we saw against Man City and that we saw against Tottenham earlier in the season. I think it's just going to be one of them where the results are going to outshine the performances. I realize I've been rambling on for 17 minutes, so I'm going to engage a bit now with the chat room. Big up to everybody who's watching. Do smash the like button. If you are watching on Facebook, do subscribe to my YouTube channel, Daniel Bailey TV. Would really appreciate it. Big up, Joanne. Hope you're well. Big up, Static. Let's have a look here. Grant says, feel free to send Saka and Smith up to Glasgow. Yeah, listen, that ain't happening. Let's be honest. That ain't happening. Although if we don't Although if we don't get Champions League football, I think Saka could be off. Evening to Hendon Gooner. Yeah, big up to Hendon Gooner. So glad I can catch your stream live. Yeah. So guys, obviously you guys know that Scott from the Red Cannon, who you guys watch his stream as well, he's not doing any live 6 p.m. streams, so I might move into this time slot. Not trying to upstage him or anything like that, but this time slot works decent for me. So I'm gonna chat to him because obviously, I'm respectful of his channel as well, and I'm respectful of all the smaller channels who I collab with. So I'm gonna check with him if he doesn't mind me moving into this slot. But if his live shows are gonna come back, then obviously I'm gonna move mine so that you guys aren't having to make a choice. But I might move into this slot because it's easier for me. Let's have a look. Let's have a look here. Oh yeah, Aaron's talked about Aubameyang's hat trick. Do you know what? Right, I actually don't care. I've got to be honest, I don't care because I look at it this way with Aubameyang, and I realised I'm way behind with the comments. So the comments that I'm reading out are going to be to do with some of the points that I made in the earlier on in the stream. So you have to bear with me, but I actually don't care about Aubameyang scoring a hat trick. And the reason why I don't care is because that says more about him as a player than it does about Arteta letting him go. And the reason why I say that, and I'm not sticking up for Arteta because I'll never stick up for Arteta because I'm highly critical of Arteta. But the reason why I say that is because when Aubameyang was here for the first, since he signed that contract, he's been absolutely dog shit, absolutely crap, absolutely pants. He's been rubbish. Let's be honest, for his output before he signed his contract to his output after he signed his contract has been absolutely diabolical. So I don't care about Aubameyang scoring at Barcelona. What that tells me is that he was deliberately playing shit, deliberately playing crap for us. Because if he can turn it on for Barcelona, why couldn't he turn it on for us? So, do you know what? Fuck him. Fuck Alba. I'm glad he's gone. If he's going to turn it on when it suits him because he's fallen out with the manager, I'm not saying that Arteta was right in what he did. I think maybe he should have given him a pathway back. But I think if you can turn it on when it suits you and then turn it off, I think that says about you. It says more about you as a player than it does the manager. And I said it, guys, didn't I? I said it for time when Aubameyang was still here. I said, watch his performances right before he left Dortmund to join us. And he played exactly the same. This is not a new thing for Aubameyang. He played well at Dortmund. Then when he fell out with the people at Dortmund, his performances dropped off and he played shit. Then he come to us. He played absolutely outstanding. And then he signs his new contract and the performances dip. And then he has a falling out with Arteta and his performances dip. This is not a new thing for Aubameyang. He throws tantrums. He's thrown tantrums everywhere he's been. So is this expected? And I knew that when he went to Barcelona, I knew he'd start being prolific again because he will be until he starts falling out with the guys there at Barcelona. He's going to be prolific. So honestly, I don't care, to be honest. We got Melina in the chat. Let's have a look. Grant on Xhaka. He said, I have to disagree, even though Xhaka shouldn't be captain, refusing it disrespects the manager, the club, his teammates, and his manager. I think with Granit Xhaka, I like I said, I think he did the right thing, and I'm glad that he refused it. He's not worthy to be captain of Arsenal Football Club. He isn't. Let's have a look here. Evening to Omar. Hope you're well. Let's have a look here. Omar says, exactly, Daniel. People getting all giddy because I won hat-trick. Exactly. They're getting all giddy. They're getting all fucking dewy-eyed because Auba scored a hat-trick. When he starts putting in them shit performances again, everyone's going to be like, oh, well, that's why we sold him. I couldn't care less about Aubameyang scoring a hat-trick for Barcelona. All I care about is these players at Arsenal. And I love these players at Arsenal. Like, I really do. The team we've got now, apart from Granit Xhaka and Eddie Nketiah, I don't dislike any of the players. And when you look at it, Granit Xhaka, Eddie Nketiah, possibly Lacazette, but I don't throw Lacazette into that same category because he doesn't score enough goals, but he does offer something in the team. He offers something of value, and that's his hold-up play. But Granit Xhaka and Eddie Nketiah, I don't like those guys. They're like the hangover from the bad days of Wenger. Like, at least Lacazette, he might not score goals, but like I said, he offers stuff. He offers something in the team. I don't see what Granit Xhaka and I don't see what Eddie Nketiah offers to this team. That's just my personal opinion. But genuinely, the rest of the players, and I know people are critical of Ben White. I know people are critical of Tierney from time to time. But I genuinely like the first 11. Like, I love Tomiyasu. I think he's brilliant. I love Ramsdale. I actually think Ramsdale, and I've said this before, is vastly becoming one of my favourite players. Saka, Smith Rowe, them guys are just fantastic. Thomas Partey, he's just brilliant. He just gets on with business. You know, Cedric, obviously, he's not going to be here. I'm not really fussed about him. Same with El Neni. I'm not really fussed about him. But the rest of the guys, Saka, Smith Rowe, Martinelli, even Pepe. I do like Pepe. I just think that I want to see more of an output from Pepe. But genuinely, I do like these players. Like, I could watch this Arsenal team and I'd be genuinely gutted if some of these players left. You know, if Ramsdale left, if Tomiyasu, Tierney, Saka, if Saka, Smith Rowe leave, I'd genuinely be gutted because they are decent players. See, like Xhaka and Nketiah, not really fussed about them. Oh, and I forgot to mention Odegaard. Odegaard I wasn't a fan of, but he's slowly growing on me as a player. I do like him. I think he's got more to offer. I genuinely like him. Let's have a look here. Not getting giddy, says Hendon Guna, but Auba's just been utilised properly. Look, I get it. I get why some people would I get why some people would miss his goals. And you know, I loved Auba when he was here. I loved Auba. I was a big fan of his. He was a great player. But he's not here now. Do you know what I mean? He's not here now. And I don't see, looking back, is going to be anything. I just don't think it's going to be constructive. And that's the thing. Omar makes a good point here. He was missing absolute sitters before he left. He was missing sitters that I'm pretty sure if you put him in another team, he would have buried. And that's the thing. Big up Arsenal Manic in the chat. Petty is garbage, Daniel, but Arteta wants to give him a new contract, says Hendon. Do you know what, right? I don't see me. me and Arteta have got one thing in common, and that is that we both I don't understand what Arteta sees in this fucking Nketiah. Like, I swear that Arteta fails to see what Nketiah does on the pitch. And that's where me and him have got one thing in common. Arteta fails to see how crap he is. I just failed to see him full stop because of my sight loss. But do you know what I mean? Like, I just don't get it. I don't get it. Like, honestly, if Nketiah was to sleep with Arteta's missus, he'd probably give him a pat on the back and say, "Well done, son." Do you know what I mean? Because I honestly don't understand the love fest. Russ says, "Evening to you, Russ." He says, "Are you trusting the process?" Look, I'm not trusting the process because I still think there's a lot. I still don't think Arteta is good enough. But and I've said this as well, right? I've said this all along, and I've been really critical of Arteta, and I still am. But I'm not gonna sit here and say stuff just to fit my narrative. Like, I hate Arteta, but I'm not going to say stuff when I genuinely don't believe it. So I've seen some Arteta haters say stuff about Arteta that just makes no logical sense. Like, I hate Arteta and I don't think he's good enough, but I'm going to speak honestly. Like, if the team play well, I think they play well. I'm not going to sit here just to say stuff to make it fit my opinion of not liking Arteta. If I generally think the team played well, or I genuinely think some players played well, or I generally think if Arteta managed certain situations, I will praise it, even if I don't like him as manager. And I don't like. I'm not just gonna be blind to the fact that certain things have happened just to make him fit the fact that I don't think he's a good manager. Because I've seen a lot of Arteta out people do that, and it's not constructive. Do you know what I mean? You have to give praise where some praise is due, even if you don't like the manager. Do you know what I mean? I don't like a lot of what Arteta does, but there have been some good things. Like, and I genuinely say that from someone who's been home and away this season. I genuinely, this might not be down to Arteta. This might be down to the fact that the players are likable, but I genuinely see a group of players connected with the fans. When you look at the likes of Ramsdale and Saka and Smith Rowe, like, they all come over at the end of games and thank the fans. I like that. I've not seen that connection for a long time. Now, whether that's down to the players or whether Arteta's told them to do that, listen, we'll never know. And everyone can form their own opinion. But I'm not just going to sit here and make assumptions of a manager just to fit the fact that I don't want him here. Because you guys know that I don't want him here. Do you know what I mean? You guys know that I don't think he's good enough. So I'm not just going to sit here and try and make stuff up just to fit my narrative. Let's have a look here. Lacazette's pants. Let's have a look here. Big up and Aaron Jones. He says, "How you can say Tommy who's been brilliant on his day. He's on his day perhaps, but not being consistent enough." I don't think he's been that bad this season. I've got to be honest. And look, I'm not going to sit here and say that because you disagree with me, your opinion is invalid. But I genuinely don't think he's been that bad. I genuinely don't think. And this is the thing, right? And I want to say this to people that don't like Arteta, because I'm with you, right? I'm absolutely with you 100%. I don't think he's good enough. I don't think he'll ever elevate us to the heights we want to go. But the fact that Arteta is not good enough, I don't think we should push that on the players. And I feel like some people that hate Arteta are pushing their hatred for Arteta onto some of these players. Like, look, Granit Xhaka is not good enough. Granit Xhaka and Nketiah are different cases because Arteta clearly is picking them, when there's other options out there and clearly they ain't good enough. But when you look at other players, like the young players like Gabriel, Ben White, Tierney, what is their crime of the century to be lambasted? Like, what is their crime of the century? All they've done was come to a big club. Look, I can sit here and we can have a discussion about whether they were the right players to bring in, and I would agree with you, absolutely agree with you, maybe that some of them weren't the right players to bring in, but they're here. That it's not their fault that they were picked to come to Arsenal. Listen, if I or you was in their shoes, I would 100% agree with you and say I would 100% go to Arsenal. If I was in their shoes and somebody said to me, listen, Arsenal want you, do you want to go? I'll be like, yeah. Do you know what I mean? So it's not their fault that they're at the club. I don't think we should, I don't think we should push our hatred of Arteta or our dislike of Arteta, because hate's a strong word, actually, to be honest, to use. Hate's a real strong, hate's a real strong word. And I don't hate Arteta. I just don't think he's a good enough manager for Arsenal. But I don't think we should push that onto some of the players. That's just my opinion. You guys are free. You guys are more than welcome to disagree with me, and that's absolutely fine, because if you agreed with everything I said, then this stream would be boring because you guys wouldn't watch me. Do you know what I mean? And healthy disagreement and healthy debate and discussion, it's all fine. It really is. Arteta hasn't done anything yet. Unless we got top four, it's pointless. And I agree with you, Manic, as well. This is why I'm sort of saying that these next... let me tell you, right, this next few months to the end of the season is going to be crucial. Is going to be so crucial, more crucial than his first season in charge when he won the FA Cup and had to finish in the European places. This now, in my opinion, is going to be the metal. It's going to be a good test of metal to see whether he can, and it's going to be a good test of metal to see whether these players are up to coping with the kind of pressure that comes from being a big team. And I'm not saying that we're a big team yet, but obviously we aspire to be a big team, don't we? We aspire to challenge for the title. We aspire to challenge for top European cups and stuff. So this is going to be a big test where the pressure's really on. I've always said it for time about this Arsenal team and Arsenal teams gone by, is when the pressure's on, we crumble. When the pressure's off, we perform. So this is going to be a big test and a big test of metal to see whether they can cope and withstand the pressure of trying to finish in the top four. These next months are going to be crucial. They really are. Part of the reason why people hate Arteta is because he signed the wrong players, giving them contracts such as Granit Xhaka and Nketiah, but people hate their players because they're crap. And I agree with you. I agree with you that part of the reason, was that. But I just think we have to. I just think we have to construct our criticism. Do you know what I mean? I don't think it. This is just my opinion. Like, I just don't think it. We need to sort of make stuff to fit our narrative. And that's the thing. I've seen a lot, and I'm not saying you guys are. Listen, you guys are. I love you guys in the chat, and you guys with your opinions are bang on. A lot of the time. But I've seen a lot of Arteta outs just say stupid stuff just to fit the narrative of the fact that they don't like Arteta. And I agree with the fact that I don't like Arteta, but I just equally I don't want to say stuff. I don't want to be like a fabricated supporter where I just say stuff because I hate Arteta and this is what's going to fit my narrative. Like, do you know what I mean? This is the acid test, says Arsenal Manic. Yeah, it is. Let's have a look at it. So yeah, listen, it's going to be mad, guys. It is going to be mad to see what happens going forward. Realize I've been going for 40 minutes as well. This is probably long enough for this stream, but listen, big up to everybody who's supported the channel. Like I said, apologies as well that I was not here yesterday doing the review. I really apologize for that, but it was just, the weekend and all that, and I just wanted to sort of chill out. But listen, I'll be back probably Tuesday or Wednesday. Actually, Tuesday's tomorrow, isn't it? So yeah, I'll be back tomorrow or Wednesday with a preview for the Wolves game. Obviously, Thursday I'm going to the Wolves game, so there'll be no content on Thursday. And then Friday I will pop on and do a review once I get back from London. So yeah, so yeah, apologies guys that, like I say, this review is a day late. I'm working on some other shows as well, and I'm working on some guests. Like I said, this channel this year is my breakout year for the channel. So yeah, I've also got a video coming out on another platform very soon. I can't obviously tell you more about that until it's actually released. I need to find out what's happening with that actually. But yeah, listen, guys, thank you to everybody who's tuned in. Like I said, this 6 p.m. slot might be a regular thing. I just need to double check with Scott because I don't want to muscle in on his time slot if he's thinking of coming back doing lives. I've always said when I support other fellow channels, especially channels that are in my position, I don't want to muscle in on their time slot. So I'm just going to double check that I'm not, obviously if he's coming back doing lives, then I'm going to move back to 7 or 7:30. But I'm going to have a chat with him and see what his plans are so I can work around his plans. Also, because I like watching his channel as well. So, there's that to it as well. But listen, guys, thank you to everyone who's tuned in. Do hit the like button on your way out. Please subscribe if you're new. Please share the content. Like I said, set myself a challenge, and obviously it's a tall order because time's getting on, and I've not really grown in the way that I'd like to. But my aim is to get to 5,000 subscribers by the end of this season, and I believe the last game of the season is like the 21st of May. So I'm going to set a target of June. By the 1st of June, I want to get to 5K subscribers on YouTube. So listen, let's make it happen. You guys play your part. Share the content, share the platform, share the channel. Like I said, I've got some big stuff coming up this year that I'm working on behind the scenes. And yeah, listen, that's all I've really got to say. But big up to everybody as well. I enjoy all your contributions as always. Enjoy the rest of your evening. I will be back tomorrow or Wednesday. Possibly, it's probably going to be Wednesday actually, because then it gives me a chance to find another guest who can come on and join me, because I know you guys like the guests and I like having guests on. So yeah, it'll probably be Wednesday. Let's shoot for Wednesday at 6 p.m. will be the preview for the Wolves game. But listen, guys, enjoy the rest of the evening. Take care. Bye-bye for now.